Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Humanitarian Horizons. Christina DiArcangelo Unveiled. And today I have two special guests from across the pond, both colleagues and friends of mine, Pathik and Dharmendra. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for connecting us
Yeah.
with the podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So, my intention today was to discuss something that's still going on in the industry, meaning the biotech and pharmaceutical and device spaces, with respect to rescues still happening on projects, which I don't know is quite surprising to me that this is still happening, given all the years of experience that many CROs have across the industry, not only within the United States, but globally as well. And then to see that we had this happen to us last year on a project where I had to reach out to you and then Dharmendra to help rescue a project that I was working on. So, what are you guys seeing over there?
Well, first of all, again, thank you so much, Christina, for having us on this podcast. Just a quick introduction. I'm Pathik Divate. I'm the CEO and co-founder of JCDC, which is a CRO that has been around for about 19 years. And talking about rescue studies, actually, this I would say the industry today doesn't have a lack of, technology. Of course, technology is all over the place, or even lack of CRO options. There are lots of CRO options. But what we see is the real issue is with execution, with consistency, and sometimes a little bit of over-promising, a little bit of, unrealistic timelines. And quite often the issue is with project management and communication. So that's where the larger issue lies. It's not with the scientific mindset or anything. It's more of these issues that come in. And at JCDC, at least we believed, even if there's a problem, we have to address the problem and bring it to the attention of the sponsor earlier than later, and then talk about how we are going to address that problem and solve that problem. So that's that's the general direction. But I'd let Dharmendra talk a little bit about how we've built our relationship and how we've addressed rescue study situation.
Thank you, Pathik. Thanks, Christina, for inviting us for this podcast. I'll just introduce in brief. I'm Dharmendra Ved, currently the Chief Operating Officer at Jaggery Clinical Development Center. And yes, we'll be happy to discuss on the topic, which was really important. There was a project which was being stalled for a long time due to a CRO who was not able to guide properly a strategic way what should be the regulatory pathway, and it was for a US FDA submission. Considering a novel biologic, there is a straightforward pathway how it should be done. So we pitched in inside. Christina approached us, and we decided that we'll do a thorough gap analysis to understand what are the lacunas which actually that particular CRO has faced, and then we planned a strategy that which all type of studies should be decided. There was an interact submission which was stalled due to this particular issue, and we wanted to go through that interact submission in a fast track way. So we decided a plan and strategy jointly with the sponsor and Christina, and then we decided that this will be the path. Luckily, post our submission, the interact went through in a fast track way, and after that, we are doing this IND enabling process. So IND submission is there. Also, are part of doing this particular rescue related to preclinical aspects. So we finally decided that this will be the preclinical studies which will be planned for this particular project with a proper certified GLP tox center, which we qualified jointly. And now we are working on that. So this is our process that we do a thorough gap analysis. We see that we give a transparent and clear feedback whether this is aligned, not aligned, not to just take a project and then finally get that particular project stuck without any knowledge. So we understand the regulatory, we understand the product. We after the understanding of product, we understand the process which is required and what all submissions required when we do that. So that is a standard pathway. So there is a scientific base and there is a regulatory expertise which is implemented from step by step to see that particular study is rescued and finally moving ahead, not stalled further or not having budgetary constraints. So this is what our strength is there. We also focus on how the budgetary aspect should also be aligned with the sponsor's requirement, not overboarding that budgetary aspects and then finally facing the issue that the sponsor has spent a lot and finally nothing is worked out for that. So we see in all levels. So multiple stages are involved where we finally align with the sponsor and then transparently see that this particular project, and luckily it was a good communication and good coordination which has finally given us this particular rescue final outcome, and now we are in line that we will be in IND submission in a fastest way, and also the preclinical parts are also started. So this will be a really good successful project considering a novel product which is for unmet need, which is required for the market urgently, and that's given us a confidence that okay, we are giving right regulatory strategy to the organization and we are able to rescue projects. This is not a first experience. We have rescued many other particular projects for other regulatory aspects where we are done, but this was a big aspect considering an US client and a US FDA submission. So definitely this is a strong support which we can provide.
Yes, especially since we were under the gun because we had lost so much time prior to you joining, which was quite frustrating. We had plenty of meetings, plenty of emails. You know, you guys know how we work. You know, we've been working together
Yeah,
for quite
yeah,
some time
yeah,
now. So there was always transparency conversations going on with meeting minutes,
yeah,
action items, but we just weren't getting anywhere. And it was the previous company gate kept the staff. So I could not go directly, like on this
correct.
project, I can go directly to Dharmendra or one of his other colleagues that's on the project as well. And I didn't have to go through you to get to the other promise side over there to talk to people. So that was delaying us as well. And so then as soon as, you know, we realized this wasn't working, we started outsourcing, which was tough because the sponsor was so jaded, if you will, by the previous group that when I did outsource this again, and then you guys were in the fold for the project, you had to really work hard to win the confidence of the sponsor, not because you had issues. And we've been working together for quite some time. We knew of each other for a long time. It wasn't our relationship, but because of what had happened previously, the sponsor was so nervous then and had trust issues. So you guys had to rebuild that, and I had to help with that too. But we
Yeah,
had to build a trust foundation so that we could move the project over quickly. And then there was the pressure, right? Because we had lost time and we knew that we needed to file for an interact because this was the first time we were coming to the sponsor as this company, and we wanted to make sure that we put our best foot forward. The other company never once said, we think you should do an interact. We couldn't even get them to talk about what we were trying to do. And so you guys had to take over it was a big undertaking and get it back. We kind of got it back on track. And, you know, we've been kind of going down the waterway together, as like I always say, like the ships are sailing in the same direction. They are, you know, and then to find a preclinical vendor, do a large initiative with that, then qualify them for GLP, the audit. We have a governance on top of the relationship. So I feel like we're in a great place to move forward swiftly with our IND, but with thoughtful science behind it and proper research, which is the name of the game, safety and efficacy.
Absolutely. No, you said it, Christina. Actually, in a rescue situation, many times there are trust issues. Obviously, the sponsor has burnt their fingers once, and they are more overcautious. But it takes a lot of rebuilding of trust. But that's where I think senior people like Dharmendra, if they are involved and wherever required, I can also step in. It makes a huge difference where then things get on track, where when senior people are involved and there's direct access to, leadership people like Dharmendra. But no, I'm glad that we have been able to salvage the situation together. And I think you played a very big role also,
yes,
with, giving the sponsor confidence that this is the right team to work with.
Now it's like a
yes,
whole
sir.
new world, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
we got over that hurdle and we're adding more and more things on as we're learning more about the product and what the items are that we want to work on, in different directions, different TAs, the same project. So it's been quite fun. And, working with a small biotech company, we understand, between our groups, we understand how to bolster and go above and beyond,
Absolutely.
to get things done. Like Dharmendra is the COO, but you never feel like he is the COO, except for his expertise, obviously, meaning that he'll roll up his sleeves and get right in there. He doesn't try, oh, I'm the COO. I can't possibly write this copy for this, whatever, we're doing. He never does that. He always rolls up his sleeves. The rest of the team, I've seen the same thing. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I'm the CEO. I don't care. I can send a Zoom invitation out. Like, I could take meeting minutes. I could draft an agenda. We just do what is necessary.
Absolutely.
And I think that the industry needs a little bit more of that, right? Doing what's necessary to execute, but to really do what we say we're going to do, which is what you originally started with, is that everybody has competencies. There's a lot of CROs out there. There's a lot of technology, but it's what they actually do as far as their performance that they are committed to contractually. Because in our sense, we had a breach. I had a massive breach on my project, which was very frustrating. And then I felt like it was my fault that this project failed because I had interviewed these people and outsourced it to them based on an opinion from one of the other people on my team who had worked with them on a previous project. So this hadn't happened then. So I don't know what happened on ours. I don't know if they were oversaturated or maybe they were too busy building their tech platform that they were trying to unhinge into our project instead of focusing on our project. They kept trying to bring this technology in that we didn't need because I have a tech platform with another one of my companies. We didn't need that. We needed you guys to get in there and do the tactical work that JCDC ended up picking up and running down the football field with the football in his hand, Dharmendra, to score in the end zone.
No, yeah, and Christina, definitely, as Pathik rightly said, it was your confidence and support. You worked with us previously. You know that how we work, how our processes are, but it is not easy when you are sitting on the other side. You also are trying to convince the sponsor when they have already burnt a lot of their cash and simultaneously they have burnt a lot of time. So to give them confidence, we definitely technically give them confidence and regulatory aspects confidence, but it was a bridge which we were like with ABP and JCDC. It was like a bridge which finally we built a relation with the sponsor, and now we are at the pathway that it's going in a very rightly timely manner, and definitely the fruits will be really good in a year's time. So we are looking for a good positive outcome, and yes, we are on right pathway, I think. So this is what rescue is, rescuing and finally enjoying that particular rescued work. So that is our strategy, and we always enjoy working together with collaborators like you who have faith in us and who also are part of engagement. So you also take a initiative to do many things. So it's like a joint work. It's a team work which we are currently doing, and that team is giving the sponsor a much confidence and final clarity also. So yes, we are enjoying this.
I think so too. Well, guys, believe it or not, we've already hit our time. It goes, right? Doesn't it go by so quickly? I told you it'll go by
Yeah,
before you know it.
yeah,
So we'll definitely have to have another one where we talk about other
sure,
issues in the
sure.
industry because I like the fact that we have such a global footprint with our companies that come together like this. And I think it's important for us to raise the bar a little bit, if you will,
Yeah,
on how you can work across the pond effectively. Because there's still, even though people have been running global studies for years and years now, there's still the stigma. And
Yeah.
I don't think the sponsor has ever felt. I mean, I can pretty much confidently say that they have never felt that, oh, well, these guys are in India, they're not going to get back to us. I have never heard that on this project because we have been you guys are very flexible, but we have really worked together to schedule things in a manner that everybody is present. We don't have
Yeah.
meetings unless everybody is present. And I think that, we can show others that it can be done and it can be done in one. We're one. That's usually what it is. When we show up, we're one team. You can't tell
Yes.
who's who.
Thank you, Christina. This has been a pleasure. We've enjoyed the podcast and we've enjoyed working with you as well.
Thank you so much. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you guys. Thank you, Dharmendra, for joining us today. This one's your first one with us, and I've had a couple already. It
Yeah.
was nice to have you with
Looking
us.
forward to multiple now. Looking forward to
Yeah.
many such. Yeah, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah, see, it's not scary at all. It's fun. It's just like us talking like we talk on our
Yeah.
meetings. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yes.
It's the same format. Well, thank you again. And with that, I'm going to end for today. Thank you for joining us at Humanitarian Horizons. This is Christina DiArcangelo Unveiled. Look for us soon. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.